Hello, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a safe, long weekend. We're here at the finale of The Last of Us Part 2, and to just get right into it, The Last of Us Season 2 overall wasn't good. Didn't stick the landing. In the beginning, what I thought was going to be somewhat of a better adaptation of a product or video game that did not live up to the expectation of its predecessor. The Last of Us Season 2, while started off I felt strong, last week was pretty much a reminder of why this was never going to work, and the finale of Season 2 actually further stepped on that narrative and proved it right, that this was never going to work. And it's just not good. And now we have confirmation of what Season 3 is going to be. And while there was some, again, hope, like earlier in the season, that they had some things changed to fix some of the narrative mistakes that they made in the game, the big ones that they continue to make are front and center and are pretty much confirmed going into Season 3. But let's get on with the review of the actual episode, since you know what I feel about the season as a whole, that this narrative that they decided to go with was just not going to work because it's just not The Last of Us. Yeah, let's just, I guess, get into the episode review in totality. So the episode starts off, I think, with Jesse removing the arrow from Dina's leg, and then Ellie showing up after the brutal scene of her killing Nora in episode 5, which was actually a pretty decent moment. She shows up and then they do the whole scene where Dina cleans the back of Ellie. Unfortunately, this is broken and doesn't make sense at all, because one of the big things that the show was missing, which now you can, I guess, was just simply because of translating it from a video game to TV show purposes. Ellie never got nearly hurt enough to have all those scratches on her back. Ellie in the game went through like hell and scratched and crawled through dirt and mud and rock and gravel and glass and gunfire, killing and just literally fighting through multiple gunshot wounds and arrow marks and Molotov cocktails and grenades and dog bites, being fueled by hate and rage to get through it all, killing dozens of people in the process to get to her end goal, to get to Nora, only to realize what she did was absolutely diabolical when she beats Nora to death with a lead pipe. And when Ellie in the game shows up to the theater for Dina to clean her, Ellie has not only destroyed her body, like from the incident of killing a bunch of people and then getting to Nora, but also was beat up in the incident in the hospital. She was also covered in what you can lead to believe Nora's blood, is because Ellie literally, it is hinted at that Ellie beat her to a mush with that pipe and just was covered in blood from it, while also being covered in her own battle scars. Ellie in the show was not covered in blood at all and had scars under her shirt and jacket and marks and scrapes and cuts, when in reality did not nearly go through enough shit to warrant that, which means that scene is not earned at all. And that is one of my big critiques of this show so far, that if they were gonna go this route of Ellie being truly like melted with rage, they didn't. It isn't earned. Then Ellie tells Dina about what Joel did. Dina gets upset with Ellie, which is I guess a change, because she now knows that what Joel did was wrong and that these people are just getting payback for what Joel did, and now Ellie is getting payback for the payback that they got on Joel. Again, further not letting you make your own decision of what Joel did was right or wrong. I mean, that's a nitpick. That's too harsh. sure, whatever. Then you kind of like it's Joel and Jesse dicking around, and then when it's time for them to part ways between Ellie and Jesse going to Tommy and Ellie going to after Abby at the aquarium. Ellie essentially like says like they get into a big like huge argument, and it's not great like at all. It's not good. I like how it's shot with the rain. I felt like that's a good. That's how Seattle should look with the rain and the rough ocean and whatever. So Ellie goes off on her own to go to the aquarium, sees a bunch of the wolves in their boats heading towards the island, and Ellie gets on a boat herself before getting getting tipped over by the water on the way to the aquarium, and ends up on the Scar Island. And then they start to hang Ellie, which is like okay, and then the alarms on the island goes off, and then Ellie gets on the boat and then goes to the aquarium. So this scene was just absolutely unnecessary, besides like showcasing that the island exists, which is heavily hinted at whenever they're all driving to the island. There's a couple of things in this like episode that I actually like that they hinted at moving forward, like all the boats driving to the island, I guess the alarms on the island, which is, never should have, whatever. And then whenever Jesse and Ellie are walking down the road, you see the big sky bridge that Abby and Lev walk across, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Anyway, also when Abby shows up at the end, she has bruises on her neck from a rope whenever the scars hang her. And I think that's just a subtle it's a small detail, but I think it's pretty nifty considering they haven't filmed any of that yet. So, that's pretty cool. Ellie goes to the aquarium, and this is where the scene happens where she kills Owen and Mel. In this scene, Owen reaches for a gun, and Ellie shoots through Owen in his neck, and then the bullet goes by and cuts Mel. And then Mel, while is bleeding out, is trying to get Ellie to cut open her stomach and save the baby. I guess the reason why they did this was maybe it would have been a little harsher to showcase Ellie stabbing Mel or like shooting Mel straight up on television. And then maybe it's like it try to like humanizes Ellie a little bit, that she doesn't want to kill these people, which pretty much wanted to kill Owen and Mel. Even she in the game, she said she wasn't going to kill Owen and Mel. I don't believe that she was never going to kill Owen and Mel. I think she was absolutely going to kill them both. But this was the scene where Mel is like bleeding out, like asking Ellie to cut. It's haunting. I mean, I can only imagine that they did that. Yeah, as like a choice of saving Ellie's character, and also maybe not like showcasing Ellie stabbing a pregnant lady in the neck, because that's a harsh look. But they could do it in the game, like they do. Like, of course, Ellie doesn't know that she's pregnant when she does it, but because it's like real people and it's not computer generated, I don't know if I don't think they could get away with that. So maybe, I don't know. Also a narrative change that everybody was really upset about in the game. Ellie, they didn't leave the map that had the theater marked on it. So when Abby shows up and obviously does the thing where she shoots Jesse in the face and cripples Tommy, and then they, it's like, how did she get there? I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out in Season 3, which you all but confirm will follow Abby's adventures in Seattle in the entirety of Season 3, which is a giant mistake, because it was a giant mistake in the game, and if they would have gone back and forth, maybe, but they didn't do that. They're literally gonna shape it all into 2 different seasons, and then I guess Season 4 will be all about Santa Barbara or wherever the hell they ended up at the end of the game. I can't remember, but really dumb. really stupid. And it shows to me that they have not learned anything at all. And the show doesn't work. It's also too short. It's way too short. 7 episodes is wild. It felt like they just tried to get this in development as fast as they could. And only filmed 7 episodes because of people's schedules. And yeah. Kind of a disaster. Like, again, episode 1 was okay. It was slow, but it was like building exposition. Episode 2 was awesome. Episode 3 was like meh. Episode 4, I can't remember. Episode 5 was okay, I think. Episode 6 is the best episode in the show as in its entirety, and then episode 7's like meh again. But again, the story just does not work. Even though, like, they tried to, like, add little things and change little things, they seem so hell-bent on going the direction that they're going, even though it's fundamentally broken, that it just sucks. And then, like, I don't know, man. I just can't. The good things I can say about the show, I know a lot of people don't particularly care about the casting of Bella Ramsey. I think that she's really good in the show as far as her acting ability. She's not written well. She's not written likable. So that's a problem. The show's shot well. It looks great. I think all the acting's great. It's just, again, like, the story's fucked. So if your story's fucked, excuse my cussing, let me fix the lighting a little bit. Story's messed up. You're doomed from the start. So, yeah, The Last of Us Season 2, while not nearly as much of a disaster as the game, just is kind of not great. It would be harsh of me to say that this season is just a big wet fart, but to be honest, I can't. I think they'll get to finish it, because even though the viewership fell off a hill, I think that it's still enough to where they will at least see this to the end and do the 4th season, because they have to do season 3 and season 4. My guess is astronomical viewer drop off between season 2 and season 3. And I got to see the actual charts. I've heard that the viewers and ratings have dropped, but I have to, look to be sure. But it's just, like the game, people aren't into this. They aren't into this story. And whenever the viewership and the sales of the game dropped off, and I don't care if it was COVID, I don't want to hear that nonsense. This is going to drop off too. And even more so that this next season is going to be all about Abby, completely changing the narrative from what you already, it's like you're going to have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get back to that point. Similar how in the game you had to play through 20 hours of something you didn't want to play to get back to the story that wasn't good already but is what you knew. It's just not a good look. So my guess is the mythos, but how it is really after watching this, the mythos of The Last of Us has completely disintegrated, and something that was so special was just stomped on. And I was hoping that the show would somehow re-spark what was so exciting, and in episode 6 they really did, but it's just a reminder that they are hell-bent on not doing that, and it's over, and we'll never. I was hoping that the show was going to be a way for us to get back what we lost in the game, and it's not. So, yeah. Mission Impossible review coming out this week. Yeah. Peace, love, adios, and bye-bye.